This is John Jones talking about potential brain issues. I'll just play it for you.
My own 20s, going home with a headache all the time, concussions. And now, when that
This boy is not listening.
I feel like I did something wrong. I really, really try to protect that.
I know who it is.
Because after you get punched in the head enough times, your ability to see things coming goes away. I've been teammates with guys who you couldn't hit, and then towards the end of their career, they couldn't stop a jab. They just couldn't stop it. Your ability to, for your brain to process and to react quickly goes away the more you get hit. So really, really, I've had teammates, they're not the bad mouth, one of my teammates, John Dante, he would get punched and he would go, hit me some more. And I never thought that was funny.
He ain't lying, man. Especially back in the day at Jackson's, at TKO's, at Grudge. Like, we had some wars. And, Shane recently came out, Carwin, who was, like a brother to me. And Shane's struggling, man. That's my main training partner, main training partner. And I know he's been struggling with some issues for a while now. And behind the scenes, we've been trying to get him help and stuff like that. I don't know, man. It's tough, right? You hear horror stories. Shane's unfortunately one of the horror stories. He got into a little older. He had a football wrestling background, but then when you're sparring like the way we didn't know any better. It was like smoking cigarettes back in the day. You just thought you could smoke and suffer no consequences. You were just idiots, man. We were just meatheads, and me and Shane, that's all we had.
That science wasn't there either yet at that time. You didn't know for a fact.
But also, come on, man. What did we think was going to happen? I'm one of the lucky ones. But it helped me out because Shane was such a shit, dude. I'll argue with anyone. Hardest hit in the UFC of all time, Shane Carwin. If he hit you flush, it was fucking trouble. He knocked me out in training. Right before I fought Ben Rothwell, he knocked me out. So I'd be like, oh, I don't have a chin. No, you don't know the story. I got knocked out 4 days before that by Shane Carwin. When I fought Nogueira, he knocked me out in that camp. Those are the most memorable ones. And then he knocked me out when I fought Mitrione, and I won that one, So it's hard to tell.
He knocked you out that many times. Dear heavens. Mm-hmm. And in training.
But here's the thing. I would zip and zag, 1,000 times, and the one time he catch you, hit so hard you paid for it. Yeah. But it helped me, avoid punches, and that's why I was light on my feet. Like, oh, he's an athlete. Now I'm fucking terrified. So I had to have good footwork, I had to have good footwork, and I was elusive, and that's all because of Shane. He was like a brother, man. Love that dude to death. Now he's suffering from it. It came out, in this antitrust lawsuit. He's part of it, and Shane's paid a dear price. You're talking about one of the smartest guys to ever fight in combat sports. When he fought Brock Lesnar, he was still I think some sort of engineer. I don't get it wrong, but he's an engineer for the city of Greeley, and making six figures. And Dana called him. I'm not saying anything I don't think he has said, but Dana called him and was just like, "Hey man, you got to quit your job. Like, it's such a bad look. We're doing the countdown show and you're working a full-time job." And Shane was like, absolutely not. And he's like, what if we paid you this amount of money? He's like, no, man, because fighting's so short-sighted. The career's so short. Like, this is how I, insurance for my kids and for my wife, and it's how I pay the bills. And he's like, he refused to. And because of the way that we trained, because we were meatheads, we didn't know. Even the coaches, we'd spar twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week, like all out wars. And because of that, Shane, he can't even keep a job, dude.
It's that bad right now?
Yeah. He went from being a engineer, to he can't be a bouncer at a fucking bar.
What the fuck?
Yeah. He can't. So that's what you're dealing with, Shane's in the thick of it, man. There's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do. We tried to get him help. The UFC did fly him down to the Apex thing, and they tried to do stuff. So to Dana's credit, as soon as Dana found out, he, that's who I called. Through my contacts, I tried to get Shane some help. And as soon as Dana heard that Shane was having some issues, he flew Shane down there, and they tried to, I don't know enough about it. I don't know if anyone does, but he's the worst of the worst right now. And that was a guy who, terrible. One of the smartest people you've ever met, too, We used to laugh. God, we're idiots. We used to laugh because we'd get in our car and we wouldn't know how to get home after sparring. We'd call each other and laugh. And thank God I'm all right, Somewhat all right. I don't know. Who knows? I talk for a living. I do a lot of creative stuff, which I think helps me delay whatever's headed my way. Who knows? But for Shane, he was older. And also, there's this thing, Shane did it, where you can check sort of genetic capability if you're more prone to concussions. And I had the whatever it is, the marker that showed that I'm not, that I can handle concussions. I know, surprising to most of you out there. I'm sure the comments are flying off the charts right now, making fun of me, which is fine. But Shane did have the precursor where he suffers from concussions. It's just the roll of the dice, And Shane, had concussions from football. Shane was a high-level football player, linebacker at Western. Had a shot with the Philadelphia Eagles, I think. And then he said he got a lot of concussions wrestling as well. But what has he said, Chin? Can you bring up what Shane said? So who's this?
So this is part of the antitrust thing where Verdum came out and said he's dealing with CT symptoms right now too.
I suffered many concussions. I fear that during my career I've suffered TBI and no symptoms common with TBI and CT, including irritability, anger, anxiety, insomnia, and memory loss. I have many lesions and scarring in my brain.
This made me think of you because he says, I have a cyst that is centrally located within my brain, making surgery thus far impossible. And you said you had a tumor, but you were born with it, right? It's somewhere.
They think.
They think?
They don't know.
So it could have been caused by fighting? No.
Could have, yeah. By the time they caught it, I was, 5 years deep into fighting. I think I was born with this not growing anymore. I should probably get that checked out.
Yeah, dude.
This stuff is scary, man. Especially because I got kids.
Sorry to bring this up to you guys.
No, it's important. It's important that we don't talk about it. Like we talk about, even I do. It's like, oh, there's a fight night this Saturday, not a great card, and we skim over it. No, hold on. There's a fight night this fucking Saturday, and I know there's not huge names on it. There's guys on there that are going to be like this. And I wouldn't change anything. That's what's fucked up. I wouldn't change anything. My life's fantastic.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
But people are like, oh, you're hating on the UFC. I bleed the UFC, man. It's all I do. I love the UFC and all the opportunities they've given me. But when I talk about fighter pay and compensation, there's not enough money in the fucking world. Like Vince McMahon. It's like, remember Vince McMahon, that meme? He's all... There's not enough money in the world. If you ask Shane Carwin if he could do it again, if you give him $1 billion, Shane's really bad.
Fuck, man.
Bring up what Shane said. There you go. Click on that declaration of Shane Carwin. Ready for this? All right. Keep going down.
Let me click on the entire thing.
Yeah. No, you'll hear some guys that say they have CTE and we blow it off, right? Shane's a former world champion and also didn't have that long of a career overall. Shane didn't have a ton of fights. So he says, while fighting for these guys, I suffered many significant injuries and concussions. I feel that during my career, I've suffered traumatic brain injury, depression, mood swings, irritability, cognitive tests, conductive at the Cleveland Clinic. I've suffered damage to my prefrontal cortex and left hemisphere. I spend days in bed suffering from bouts of paranoia and fear and anxiety. I've been hospitalized twice to treat addiction. Here, stay there. Go up. Ready for this? Despite, no, it's so hard for me to through. Fuck. I'll get there. Hold on. Despite having a degree in engineering from Colorado School of Mines, I've been unable to maintain adequate focus to hold down my engineering job. I face serious challenging, meaning basic.
Damn.
Former world champ. I face serious challenges in meeting basic everyday expenses for food, shelter. Fuck. He has kids. Give me a break. All right, sorry guys. Yeah, you're talking about here's what's going on. You're talking about a former fucking world champion, one of the best knockout artists, even though he didn't have a crazy long career. And because of the trauma they suffered being a professional fighter and, college football player and college wrestler, he can't afford food, shelter, and transportation to function in life. So I'm not hating on the UFC. I'm not hating on Dana. This would have happened if Shane fought in Pride, if he fought in PFL, if he fought in one championship. It's why it's so important. It's tough, right? So let's say they win the lawsuit. Let's say they win the lawsuit and they send Shane, I don't know. Let's play crazy world. Let's say they send him $30 million. Shane gets $30 million. So take money, food, and transportation is not a worry of his anymore. He's still fucked, dude. He's still screwed. He has kids. He has a wife. I don't know if she passed away. She has cancer, stage whatever, 4 or 5 cancer. I don't know the fucking degrees. But Shane's an instrument because for the most part, I'm a fucking moron. So if I get any dumber, it's like whatever. Shane wasn't dumb. Shane was a very high functioning human being in this world. Shane is smart amongst smart people. Shane got a degree from School of Mines. That's the Harvard of the fucking Midwest. School of Mines is so hard to get into, and he dominated that shit. Dominated. One of the smartest people you will ever meet is Shane Carwin. He can barely tie his fucking shoes. He's not doing great. So he goes on to say, I'm sorry for crying, man. I'm not getting through this. It just, it's Shane Carwin who, you're going to start crying.
You don't have to be sorry, bro.
Yeah. It's Shane Carwin who paid for my training when I can afford it. It's Shane Carwin who had one fight when I met him. I had none. And he forced me to he signed me up without me knowing into Golden Gloves because he knew I'd win. And he cornered me. And I cornered him in his second fight ever in Mississippi. We had nothing, dude. Just me and him. All we had was me and him. We didn't have big bodies because we're both so big. We only had each other. He called me his little brother. And now he's dealing with this. That's why when a fighter walks in a room with any other major athlete, you guys bow down. Because there's warriors like Shane Carwin. He said this would truly be life-changing money for me and other members of the class. These funds would allow me to obtain health care I need to keep a roof over my head and food on the table. Sad reality is the funds years from now may be no use to me. I need these funds now.
Just desperately. That's fucking crazy.
Again, you're not talking about a kid from the favelas who came from nothing. You're talking about a guy in a room full of smart, educated people would run circles around them. Can't afford food and transportation because of the damage he took fighting the UFC. I know it's not fun to talk about. I know, let's talk about Francis Vieira, or let's talk about UFC, whatever it is, 307. I get all of that, guys. I'm with you, man. I don't like this shit either. I'm tired of it, too. But if Shane was your brother, was your uncle, you'd probably be singing a different tune. And I'm not going to get 100 next week and keep fucking harping on this. Because, again, there's not much I can do. When it first started, was I part of it? Of course. Hell yeah, man. I wanted to rally the troops. It's tough. You're fighting an animal that you don't know how to deal with. The UFC is such a monster. And the reason I say UFC, and it's all leagues, is because UFC is the creme de la creme. If you're going to sue, if you played football, you're not suing the CFL. You're not suing the Arena League. You're suing the top dogs because you get the most money because they're the most successful. It's kudos to Dana. There's a reason why the UFC is the face of this. Is because they're the top dogs. They're the monopoly, and they should be. There's nothing wrong with being a monopoly. The issue is it's such a double-edged sword. I don't want to see the UFC go away, but you got to take care of guys, man. This is just a matter of time. Shane's one of many. It just so happens that Shane's story is fucking heartbreaking. He wasn't a dumbass. He's not an idiot meathead like me. I know he looks like it, and you guys want to assume Shane's this big, dumb animal. He's fucking not, dude. When Shane was younger before all this, he could have sat on JRE and ran circles around any guest that Rogan has had in that room. I'm fucking telling you, man. He was a monster. Analytics, numbers, dude. He's like fucking Rain Man. It just so happened he's in this 6'3", 280-pound shredded body. And you guys want to assume he's a meathead and write him off? I get all that. I'm telling you, you're wrong. And now he can't afford food. And his kids. I don't know. I know his wife, hopefully I'm not speaking out of turn. His wife had like stage 4 or 5 cancer. They gave her 3 months last time I saw him to live. And here my dumbass is. We went through the exact same training. I had more fights than Shane. I got knocked out more than Shane. In the octagon. What else did he say on that? That's his thing. Shane needs money now. This is going to take forever, dude.
This looks like the last page.
He goes, I also understand the UFC has publicly vowed to appeal any trial verdict against it, and that entry of any judgment in the case and resolution of those appeals could take several years, which he does not have. So even if the fighters won at trial and on appeal, any recovery would likely be delayed for several years. This is why I'm not a billionaire or a mega millionaire. I do all right, I'm not crushing it. I do good, right? I do well. If I'm Dana, if I'm the UFC, they're damn near billionaires, or I'm involved with Fertitas, Fertitas are billionaires. I get you got this case going on. I just don't understand when you have all that going on, Shane, you know he has a case here. How do you not just go, all right, for the rest, you know, there's going to be a few outlier cases here of guys that have really bad. Nobody probably has it worse than Shane. How do you not just go, I get it, dude, boom, 10, 15 mil, your troubles. How can you not just take yourself, step back for a second? I know sharks, savages, CEOs, all that shit, entrepreneurs, I get all that, and you guys deserve it all. You did it. Can we be human for a fucking second? Could you just be a fucking human being for a second and go, here, dude, here, man, we know. You don't have to do it publicly. Just as from fucking human to human, man. This guy put his life on the line. I've seen it, dude. I was with him every step of the way from day fucking one. He's such a good person. How can you not just go, yeah, man, that's terrible. You can't even afford housing and food. You lost your wife. The kids aren't doing great. Here you go. Don't worry about it. That's pennies to these guys. And what makes them so successful is they don't have that compassion. I can't understand that. I cannot understand. My worst enemies could call me right now and I'd help them out. And that's probably why I'm at where I'm at and not like a lot of the other people, and that's fine. I just don't understand how you can read this and what Shane's going through and go have a conversation with Shane. I've talked with Shane. Have one conversation. How you don't go, holy fuck, here you go. How's that not a thing? How's that not a thing? And for you new to MMA and you're like, Shane Carwin, this old guy? Oh, buddy.
I think that's the most recent settlement, which they did, right?
I mean, when there's outlier cases like this, and Shane's an outlier here.
No, I'm with you 100%.
Such a smart guy, you know, engineering, he can't even work a fucking bouncing job. How they just don't go, we know court takes forever and we're going to appeal and do our thing, but this, okay, boom. I don't know. I can't understand it. People go, oh, well, if they do that and then opens up, I know. Can you do it on the side maybe? Can you toss them some cheddar on the side so you can function? I don't feel like that's an insane ask. Maybe I'm the minority. I would imagine most people listening, yeah, we do the same thing. Yeah, we're not fucking billionaires. We're not fucking tycoons, you know, who are fucking savages, and that's why they're at where they're at. And nothing's gonna fill the void of those people. There's not enough fucking money in the world. Because if there was, they would stop right now. They can't buy any more things. They can't buy any more cars, any more houses, any more planes. They will never fill that dark fucking void. And that's why they can't understand and look at a guy like Shane and go, oh, holy shit, here you go. That's why. For those of us listening, the fucking normal people out there, we go, we can't comprehend it. We're not tycoons. We're not billionaires. That's why those people are like that. You don't want to be them. Trust me. You do not want to be those fucking savages. It's not a fun world. I know you see them on Instagram and TikTok doing all their thing and jet setting. That ain't shit. They're never going to fill the void. And they have money. It's a fucking curse, man. That one's tough.
Can we lighten the mood a little bit?
Too much.
Huh?
Too much.
I mean, just one more current event, which I think is great. Have you seen?
Last thing on this.
Yeah.
If you're new to MMA, if you're, I know the antitrust lawsuit and all that shit, you're sick of it and blah blah. I'm with you. I couldn't agree more. And I know it probably hits closer to home because Shane's, dear friend. Just read the affidavits. Read what some of your favorite fighters are saying. And then let me know how you feel. I'm not saying don't stop watching UFC. I'm not saying any of that. I love it all. I'm just saying be human for once and step back and realize what these guys are putting on the line. This is the future. This is it. This is what you're seeing. This is it. And so you can roll your eyes. Oh, you're a hater on the UFC. You're a hater. No, I love the UFC. I love Dana. All I'm saying is just be human. Can we just step back for a second? I know beast mode, savage, billionaire, this. Could you The amount of money you guys put into marking the slap fight league, could you take a fraction of that and give it to Shane for me? That's not how business works. I get all that, dude. I own a business. I get all that. Could you take a fraction? A fraction. I'm talking 1% of the bullshit marketing you put into slap fight, or get the fucking Qatar, the Middle East deal you made, the blood money that you made. Could you take 1% of that and give it to Shane for me? That's not going to bankrupt you, is it? No, of course it's not. Could we be human for 1 fucking second? And then we can go back to, beast mode, Trump 2024, all that shit. I'm with you. I'm one of those guys. But at some point, we got to step back and be fucking human for a second and go, holy fuck, one of our brothers is suffering here. Yeah, but he's always stupid. Wrong. It's one of the smartest motherfuckers to ever come from the UFC. I'll tell you right now, I'll bet anybody any amount of money. The 2 smartest people to ever grace that octagon, straight up any educated person they'll go fucking toe-to-toe with, is Josh Barnett and Shane Carwin. Good luck fucking arguing with those 2. They're not meatheads. They weren't born like this. This is all a result of them putting their life on the line, entertaining you inside that octagon. Could you step back for a second and change somebody's life and not do it for the media attention? Do it under the table. I guarantee somebody from the UFC is going to see this. I guarantee you. Can you just be fucking human for a second and save somebody's life? Because he doesn't have that long. And then what happens if, God forbid, he does pass? Who knows how? Then what? Then what do you think happens to the case? You think that helps you? If you want to put your business hat on, you think that helps you? What else you got? We can also stop there, Chin, unless you got anything else.
Yeah, I mean,
cool.
honestly, there's I don't know how to go past that. So,
All right, well, this took a weird turn.
but it's an important message, man. So it's good. It's good that you talked about it.
Trust me, I hear horrible stories from fighters all the time.
Yeah.
And I know the fans get sick of complaining about, you're the one signed up for it. I get all that. Could you be fucking human for a second?
Yeah.
Say you have a fight night this weekend. I know, Connor's not on it. You're probably not going to watch it. You got a bunch of people putting their lives on the line. Tune in.
Yep.
How about that?